Hey everybody, thanks for clicking on the video. This is Greg from 10 Minute Marvel. I am going to just kind of go over a theory that I have. Peder had put up a theory a few days back regarding what he thought was going to be the Fantastic Four's plot for their upcoming film in 2025. Because him and I have been kind of talking about it, trying to figure out what about the 60s, how is that going to play a role, what about... there's talk of like Galactus. Are they going to be put in the future, in the present time? You know, is it going to be mostly in the past? Are they going to have powers? When are they going to get their powers? All that. So, Peder tossed up his video. I decided, and he said I was going to try and poke some holes in his. I decided I was just going to. I had kind of a crazy theory, and I wanted to put that out there instead of poking holes in his. As great as his probably is, mine's going to be better. So, all right. So here we go. First of all, don't forget to like, subscribe, check us out on YouTube, all that. I'll kind of go over more of that later. Fantastic Four. Here's my theory. So we have it starting off in the 1960s. However, this is an adjacent timeline to the 616. Okay, lots of similarities. You know, almost neck and neck with things I feel like is going to happen, but this is slightly adjacent. So there's something just a little bit different about it, different branch, right? Tiamat is out there. He's sitting in the ocean, still there in this adjacent world, and but Tiamat's energy, it is out there, and Galactus, he smells it, right? He wants that energy, so he's on the way. Galactus is coming in this adjacent world. We find the Fantastic Four actually kind of a broken family, and they're maybe not such a family yet, but they're not the Fantastic Four that we know them to be or are expecting them to be at this point. Reed is trying. He's stuck. He is obsessed with the problem, and he's trying to fix it. Right? He's trying to fix that problem, and maybe it's something a problem that his father Nathaniel was trying to fix and never could. Maybe it's the problem of everything. Right? That's something from the comics, and maybe he's working on that, and they're going to plant that seed. But they are really not the Fantastic Four that we know and love yet at this point. So we have a herald of Galactus coming down, and Reed spots him, right? Whether it's him, her, we don't know. Maybe there's a couple, but Reed senses or sees that he's coming, and he or she's coming. Reed has figured out that this is related to the energy that Tiamat is giving off, and so he's got to figure out a way to solve this problem of maybe removing this large celestial, right, from our ocean. Hang on, I'm gonna turn that. Okay, and so that's his mission, right? However, we have a scene maybe where Reed is visited by a figure, a voice, not sure who it is, where it came from, and that voice is telling him he has got to let Galactus do his thing. Like, you have to just let it go. He has to consume this planet. And obviously with the Celestial, you know, the Celestial has to be consumed by Galactus. We don't really know who that figure is. You know, maybe it's Franklin from the future. We don't know. But the idea is that Reed is being told by this mysterious figure he's got to just leave this problem and not solve it. And unfortunately, that's just the way it has to be. That is hard for Reed. So Reed is, he says, nope, forget it. I need to solve this problem. This is my new obsession. And he goes and he's scrambling to fix it, right? And maybe this is all like in the first, there's a lot, but it could be all in the first half hour, 45 minutes. And he's trying to figure out a way to solve this problem. He comes up with the idea of some sort of device, maybe like a portal gun or something like that, where he can blast at Tiamat and move him to somewhere else, some other reality out in space, somewhere. It does something. It pushes him somewhere just other than this adjacent 616 universe. Okay, so that plan of Reed's ends up failing, and now Reed has got to figure out what to do next because Galactus is coming. He's got Sue Storm there. Sue has got Johnny, and of course he's got Ben Grimm, his best friend. And he decides that these are the people that are closest to him, that are important to him. They need to get out of there. He's got a plan. He has a backup plan, of course. So he is deciding that he is going to get them out of there. So they get on a spaceship, something like that. They have a device, or not a device. They have like a spaceship that he has tucked away. Who knows? And it's going to get them off of this 616 adjacent world and into a safer place, somewhere out in space. He just needs to get off of adjacent Earth. In this process, right, Galactus is there. He's coming, and like he's about ready to devour this adjacent 616. They are trying to leave. They're getting sucked into the, like, I'm just picturing this Earth getting sucked into Galactus's mouth, right? Fantastic Four are shooting off in their shuttle, trying to get away, but this is so much pull happening that they can't seem to get out of the way. Reed takes that portal gun that he had, and he creates a portal. They go through it, and then once they get to the other side, they hit some crazy cosmic radiation. This is where their powers come from, right? This gives them Johnny's fire ability. This gives Reed his stretching ability. Sue her invisibility. Thing gets altered. All that happens. Also, we have the Herald of Galactus, Silver Surfer, maybe, follows them through this portal, and they don't know that yet, though. But on the other side of this, right, they are now in the regular 616 as we know it universe. They now are having to deal with these new powers, this power set. They're trying to understand. They're coming together. They kind of get familiar with what's happening on this new Earth. Which can kind of solve the problem as to why nobody remembered them, right? Or in this idea of like them being in the 60s and starting there, why did nobody remember them? Well, now they're in an adjacent world. I'm sorry, not in an adjacent world. They're in the actual MCU 616. But in their adjacent world, that never developed, right? Reed in that world would have continued to just probably bury himself in his work. The Fantastic Four never came together. But in this new 616, in the current MCU timeline, that is a little different. They're in this, and it kind of solves the problem as to where they came from, and how they got their powers. That's all figured out. But now they have to figure out how to stop the Herald of Galactus, possibly Silver Surfer, right? And in order to do that, they need to come together as a family, mend their ways, work together, figure out their powers, and defeat the Herald so that he or she doesn't call upon Galactus to come to this world. In the end, of course, they either defeat the Silver Surfer, maybe they befriend the Silver Surfer, maybe they take that sort of route. Whatever happens, they are now on the MCU 616 world, and they are basically, there's no reason for them to go back anywhere, because in the 60s of their time, in their adjacent world, that world is gone. Galactus had it. He ate it. Done. In this world, there's no reason for them to go back to the 60s of the current world, because that's not really where they're from. So they're now in the current timeline of the MCU, and this is where the rest of their story continues on. So that is my best theory that I've got to try and piece all the things together that we know so far. The 60s, obviously they'll have to figure out, they'll probably have a little bit of how they got their powers, but they're not going to try and probably sit on that for too long in the movie. They just want to kind of roll through that, I'm sure. Do you want them to end up in the current 616 universe? All that. And it plants a little seed maybe for Franklin or for Nathaniel, and or maybe kind of somehow plants a seed out there for the Council of Reeds, right? All that kind of stuff happens. So, tell me what you think. Am I onto something? Is it good? Do I have plot holes? Is it better than Peder's? We all know it is, but put your comments below, like, subscribe. You can find us on YouTube, of course, right here on our channel. We got 10 Minute Marvel. You can look us up by typing in 10 Minute Marvel, searching us for us there. We got Facebook. You can find us there. X, we're there. Hashtag 10 Minute Marvel. Podcast comes out every Tuesday. Peder and I we have a new topic usually every week. And nerdologist.com. That's another place that you can find us. So thank you for clicking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the likes. You guys take care. We'll see you next time.